Hi, everyone. It's Bev DeBono, and I have a really fast technique. It may not look it, but it really is very, very fast. And it's one that you can use over and over. And I call it um, circles, half circles at the top and half circles at the bottom. So this particular page was kind of like a New Year's kind of a page. And this one was actually a fall or it was a Croptoberfest. And I want to show you, I started putting some mats on my pages because I was getting a lot of questions as far as where do you put your pictures on these? So let me show you on this one really quick. You can do 2 4x6s, 2 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, so I purposely made the inner piece here big enough that you can fit 4x6s as well as a title bar. Now you can also move these to the side and do your 4x6s this way, overlapping, and then doing almost like a 3.5 by 5, and you can go a little bit into the margin there and a 3.5 by 5. So there's a lot of ways that you can post your photos on here. And then this one is just a fun one because it had a lot of smaller pictures, and I think those were 3.25 by 4.5, I believe. So that's just to give you an idea. I don't always like to put mats on here because people say, well, my pictures don't go in that direction, but I do get a lot of questions as to where can I put the pictures? So I thought I would just show that to you really quick. Okay, so what we need to make this technique is we need a base cardstock. All right, and then we need a paper that we can cut, and I really like using maybe a busy pattern for this because we're going to cover a lot of it up, but sometimes a busy pattern that we have trouble figuring out what to do with would be a really nice one to use. In this case, I happen to use a stripe, which was a very dark stripe, but putting it on a lighter base and then breaking it up with the circles actually brightened it up a little bit. Okay, so you need a piece of designer paper or whatever paper you're going to use, and we're going to cut that to 12 by 8, and that's going to go right in your middle. Then we're going to need 2 strips to make, well, you can't see that one, it's got a sticker on it, to actually make your defining line here. And those are going to be 1/2-inch strips, and we're going to use a decorative blade. You can use a decal or a Victorian. And then we're going to use the 1 3/4 circle punch. And I'm going to show you a technique that we can cut them in half actually on the circle punch itself. So we're not wasting a lot of paper. Okay, so let's get started, and I'll give you all those dimensions again. All right, so we need our base, and then we need our 12 by 8 piece. 12 by 8. Okay, so I'm using a stripe, so I have to check the direction of this, but you just need a 12 by 8-inch strip. Okay, so I'm going to do a 12 by 8. And now this is going to go right in the middle of your page. So you have an 8-inch wide. So you're going to have a 2-inch top and a 2-inch bottom. So when you line it up on your 13 by 13 mat, you're lining it up at the 2-inch mark at the top or the 2-inch mark down at the bottom. So let's go ahead and put that on our base. Okay, 2 inches down from the top and 2 inches up from the bottom. Okay, now we need 2 strips that are going to go, they're actually going to complete the design here. And I am going to use a brown, and I just happen to be lucky because when I flip this over, guess what? I have a brown. So I am going to use either a decal or a Victorian blade. If you don't have the decal or Victorian, you can certainly use a wavy, you can use a scallop, but I think for this one, I'm going to use the Victorian blade. Okay, if you've never realized it, but your trimmer underneath can hold all the blades under the base of the trimmer. All right, so let's change our blade out. And we're going to cut this at a 1/2 inch intervals. But to start the decorative edge, we have to cut a little bit first. We have to cut what I call a throwaway piece. And I usually like to do that at a 1/2 inch. This way I can always use it again. So I'm lining my paper up on the right-hand side to the 1/2 inch mark. And now when you're using a blade that has a decoration on it, make sure you press down before you move your housing unit. Press down really hard. This is not a straight blade, so it's not like you can go back and forth because this has a design on it, and the design may be different when you go up or down. Okay, so just press down a little harder than you usually would because you only get one time at that. Okay, so this is what I call my throwaway strip because I had to start the decorative edge, but it's a 1/2 inch strip, and I really use a lot of 1/2 inch strips in other designs. Okay, and then I'm going to move it to the 1/2 inch again. And I've got one more time all the way down. And then 1/2 inch again. And one more time all the way down. Okay. Now we're not going to put this on it yet. This is going to be our, this is going to cover all of our little problems that we may have. I don't expect any, but just in case for some reason something doesn't line up, this will cover it and we don't have to worry. Okay, so now this is the fun part. We are going to cut 1 3/4 inch circles, and we need 16 of these, 16 half circles. Okay, so it is really easy when you have this circle punch, the Creative Memories 1 3/4 punch. And I'm going to show you a really cool tip. You can do this 2 ways because we just need half of the circle. If you have enough paper, you're going to cut a whole, you're going to punch out a whole circle. All right. And then we're just going to put it in our trimmer. And we're going to put it in the belly here of the little valley. And that's going to give us, and just push it nicely up, up or down. No matter what size circle you use there. Oops, I should have changed my blade to the straight blade. No matter what size circle you use there, it will cut it directly in half. All right, so now this one, I'm going to have to just trim the edge a little bit to the edge there. Okay, but I have a nice 1/2 inch, and that's, half of the size, and that's the size that we are going to need. So that's if you have an entire piece that's big enough. Now, if you don't have a piece that's big enough, let's say you have a strip that's like this size. Okay, and this happens to be, oh, 1.5 inches. And we need we need half of the 1.75 inches. Not to worry. In the back, when you hold your circle punch, when you hold this circle punch upside down, this punch has lines in the punch itself. So when you look at it, you see there's 3 lines. And I'm going to line my paper up to the middle line, and that is going to cut the circle right in half. So if I'm using scraps like this and I don't have enough, I can insert my scrap sideways. Okay, so this is 1.5 inches scrap, and I'm inserting it sideways, and I'm putting it right on that line. See, I don't have enough to make a whole circle, but I'm putting it right at the middle line, just like that. And now I'm going to punch it. And I get exactly the same size circle that I just cut of that in half. Okay, so I'm going to do it this way so that you can see it. Maybe it'll be easier to see from this side. I'm going to put it in from the side, and I'm going to line the straight bottom up to the middle line in the bottom of the circle. So this is just a fun technique so that you don't waste a lot of paper and you can use more scraps. Okay, so the flat edge is going to that middle line, and then you punch. Okay, so I now have another circle, and then I just am going to clip the paper so that I have another good starting point, and then all the way over. My straight edge goes to the halfway point on the punch, and then I punch it again. Okay, so that's a really fun technique. Now there's another technique I want to show you with this circle, and it's similar. Let's say you have a 2-inch square, and I don't want to waste paper, and you know I don't like to waste paper, so I'm going to try to get the circle, and it's going to be really tough here because I'm going to try to position it, and you know how that is. It doesn't always work out. Ooh, this time I just got it in. Well, here's a quick tip on that. You can take a Post-it note and just put it on the bottom, and this happens to be a 2-inch square. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to put it in from the top. You can put it in from the side. And I'm just going to line it up so that the bottom, the straight edge goes right to that line. And I'm going to punch it. Okay, so this just extends the paper or what you can hold onto the punch so you can use more of your scraps. Okay, so those are always fun techniques to show. I love to show those with this punch because it is just a lot of fun. Now I've got some of these that I've already cut, but some of these are too big. So I'm actually going to just cut some of these in half. This is from a project I had done on something else. And then before you tape anything down, oops, see, like this one has a direction, so I can't put the tree upside down. Then place your circles, your half of the half circles along your line, that paper line that you just have. And you should have about 8 on the top, 8 on the bottom. Okay, so just double check your sizes if if for some reason you may have clipped it a little too close and you don't have exactly, it's not exactly cut in half. That's why we have that little strip that's going to go over it. Because if we have to make a circle a little higher up from this 8-inch paper there, we have some flexibility. Okay, so you have 8 on the top. Oh, I'm finding I'm gonna have to cut a bunch of these. But again, I'm not wasting any circles because this was from a previous project that I had done. I love it when I can use up my scraps. Don't you? Yeah, and then I have, oh, that guy is too short, you see, so I'm going to have to lift it up and not have it be on that, right on that edge. Okay, so play around with your circles, line them up so that you have, and then you'll, adjust your, so what I was saying is like this brown one is a little short compared to the rest of them. So I'm going to lift it up just above this line, above my paper here, but not to worry because I have that 1/2 inch strip that I'm going to use to cover all of that. Okay, and then another thing that you might want to, as far as making them spaced evenly, you have your 6-inch mark on your mat. So on your 6-inch mark on your mat here, that's about where the middle of your circles should be. So sometimes I start in the middle like this on the 6-inch mark. I just have my scissors there to guide me. And then I will take it from there. All right, and just to make sure I'm putting repo tape on it. So in case I need to lift it up, no worries, it can all be done. Okay, so like this, that one, I'm gonna move up just a teens because it's a little too small. And you're just gonna overlap. But it's a fun layout that you can use over and over and over again. And then do your other side. And then we'll do the bottom. See, now this by itself looks nice, but just putting that 1/2 inch strip just really finishes it off. And as I said, it's going to cover my little situation with one of those circles that just wasn't cut just a little shorter than the others. Okay, so 8 on the top and 8 on the bottom. Okay, let me get my circles. Yeah, that one's too short. Okay, so prototype. I'm cutting some of these by hand because some of these were not complete circles. They were, like I said, like this from a previous project, so I didn't want to waste the circle. And you don't have to use 3 colors. You could use 4 colors. However many colors you would like, I think is fine. A few more circles. And see how fast it is once you have the tools. once you have the tools, it's really a fast page to make. Oh, I think I need one more blue. Mm. So just alternate your colors. This would be really cute in primary colors for a school page or some kind of a fun kids page. I think the primary colors would be really, really cute. So now this one looks a little too big. I'm going to cut that one down just a little bit. Oh, I think I need an owl. One last one. Okay, so once you have your circles selected, go ahead and put them down. Again, I might just cut a little bit off of some of the ones that I think are too big. And use your repo tape real quick. Start in the middle so that your middle pieces are both sharing that 6-inch mark. And then move out from there. Now it makes it, I have two papers that have direction on them. So that's what's taking me a little bit longer because I'm using the brown here that has trees on it and I don't want the trees upside down. So that is taking me just a little bit longer. And again, this one's just a little too short compared to the others. So I'm going to just move it away from that 8-inch piece. More repo. I go through a lot of repositionable tape. Okay, and then when you're done, when you have all of your circles, your half circles, then go ahead. Now, see, this is what I was saying about adjusting it. The brown one here up at the top was a little too short. So I moved it up because I'm going to cover that open space. And the blue one down here was also a little too short. So I moved it down. Now, if you find that you went over the edge a little bit, not to worry, just clip off any excess that you have. Like if there's any circle tails that are hanging around, just clip them off. No problem. Okay, and now I'm going to put down my two strips, my 1/2-inch strips that I had already cut with the Victorian blade. And I'm putting repositionable tape on those. And I'm going to put those right in the middle. Right in the middle, so that my 8-inch piece was at the 2-inch mark, side to side. So these little 1/2-inch strips are going to go, they're going to be centered on that 2-inch from the top. They're going to be centered where that other one came down. And then that's going to cover, like I said, any little imperfections that you may have had with your circles touching the paper. So it's just couple little ticks above and couple little ticks below, and you're just gonna have them nice and see how fast that was. And then if you want to decorate it, you can use any of these little border. There's a lot of these little border stickers. I'm just going to put one right in the middle of my 1/2 inch strip. And because it has that nice decorative edge, it pops it. And you usually have these on every sticker pack. There's usually one sheet of just borders, and these happen to be a very thin one that I had. Okay, so that is in effect your page. And then you can put your mats on it however you like. I also always like to just finish off maybe the tops of my circles with a couple little dots. And I'm going to use the dual tip pen. I'm using, oh, this was supposed to be brown. I put the wrong cover on them. I'm using the bold tip of the dual tip pens. And I'm just putting a couple dots on the top of each of the little circles. It just gives it some movement. And it finishes off your page. Okay, so that is just an idea. And then, of course, if you want to add your mats, you can certainly add mats to your page. As I said, these are really very, very flexible as far as what you can add to your pages. So this is the Croptoberfest, what a hoot. And this happens to have been from one of the secret boxes, which was Shining Moments. And this one, I just have some white mats on them. So tell me which one you liked better. And I'd love to see some of your designs. And this can also go 4x6, 4x6, and you can do 3.5 by 3.5 if you prefer, or if you have photos that are in this direction, you can overlap and even go over your 1/2 inch, go over on your 1/2 inch strip there. And that makes a nice page as well. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed another fast technique. I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. It's Bev DeBono Designs. Please take a look at it. Let me know which ones you like. If you are looking for Creative Memories products and you're not currently with an advisor, please consider ordering through me. And if you're looking to join the Creative Memories family of advisors, I do support a nice group of advisors, and we're pretty much across the country right now. So anyway, let me know. Okay, good night for now.